here on NFL Network. Here's a look at some of the names. Kevin Greene, the sack machine. Charles Haley, one of the most fantastic defenders of all time. Marvin Harrison's on the list. Andre Reed is there. John Lynch, Michael Strahan, and Aeneas Williams. They're the 15 finalists. The class of 2014 will be announced February 1st at the NFL Honors in New York. Here's Michael Silver with more on the Hall of Fame class.
Okay, we are talking Hall of Famers with Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, Hall of Fame nominee Willie McGinest, and future Hall of Fame nominee Darren Sharper. Let's start with defense. Michael Strahan did not get in last year. You've got Charles Haley and Kevin Greene, two great pass rushers backed up. Willie, what do we do?
Well, I mean, you look at Charles Haley, and I think that's the big conversation. Anytime a defensive player or a lot of people talk about the Hall of Fame, his name is mentioned, but he's never made it in, about 8 years almost?
It's been a while.
And when you talk about a guy who can impact the football game, a guy that an offensive coordinator has to game plan for, who was somebody who came in when I was a young player and talked to me and showed me a thing or two about getting after the quarterback and how to play that elephant position, he just left a little sour taste in my mouth towards quarterbacks and everybody else on the offensive side of the ball. But I just think it's time for him to get in.
You know, I look at the three, and I look at, you look at Michael Strahan, who's on TV, and my question is, do the guys who are noticed every single day, who's talked about every single day, get overshadowed or overlooked the guys like Kevin Greene?
Right.
I mean, you look at Kevin Greene, who's the third all-time leading sacker in the NFL history. When they weren't throwing the ball, I mean, they were running the ball. Yeah. They were throwing the ball probably 40% of the time back in the day. So I just think that
in the latter part of his career,
I mean, 10 years that he had double-digit sacks. So Kevin Greene is one of those guys I think is undervalued when you look at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And while you know the criteria better than us because you're in, but I think that how you revolutionize your position and dominate your era should be the criteria in allowing you to get in, and add to that winning Super Bowl championships. So I think all of these guys have enough to get in.
And should it be numbers? I mean, I've listened to some offensive coordinators talk about defensive players they had to scheme against, and they may not have had a bunch of sacks or a bunch of tackles, but anytime you have to put a double team on a guy or change the way you're going to run the football, run away from a certain guy or chip, and use two guys to block a guy in pass coverage.
And longevity of doing that, too.
And that's how we see a lot of guys making Pro Bowls behind that.
Strahan's so good against the run. Also, Haley obviously swayed the balance of power from the 49ers to the Cowboys. Let's go offense for a second.
Okay.
One running back, Jerome Bettis, has gotten a lot of push. You're a former teammate. And then you got Marvin Harrison coming in with Tim Brown and Andre Reed, they've been trying to get in for a while. What are we doing with offense?
I mean, when you look at Timmy and Andre, if they don't get in the next couple years, they're going to be in trouble because you got Harrison, you got Torrey Holt, you got Isaac Bruce coming up, you got T.O. coming up, and in a couple years, you got Randy Moss coming up.
Yeah.
When I look at Timmy and I look at Andre, I played more against Andre, and I just look at that big three when that little K-gun was working in Buffalo, and Andre Reed played the slot. He got hit. He was big. He was physical. He made a lot of plays when he caught the football, yak yards. And, I just think he was underrated and undervalued when you look at the three because everybody looks at Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. They looked at those guys.
One Super Bowl, though. I think it would have been so easy for him.
I think you can't say
that one field goal.
I think when you say the Hall of Fame is not about Super Bowl winners. It's about how you played within your era. Because if it was all about winners, I mean, anybody who played on a bad team cannot be in the Hall of Fame. And I think that would be unfair to the individual players because at the end of the day, it's an individual award.
But doesn't it have something to do with it if you're part of a Super Bowl team and you've helped catapult your team into the Super Bowl and you made a lot of big plays and you're consistent in helping because that's the ultimate goal, to win a Super Bowl. When you come into the NFL, you don't say, man, I'm playing this game. I hope I get to the Hall of Fame because of my numbers. You're like, I want to win a Super Bowl ring. And then everything outside of that, it's extra icing on the cake, correct?
But I think that's the thing that kind of tinkers the seesaw for Charles Haley. I know we're talking about offense, but to be on 5 Super Bowl championship teams, he should have gotten in a long time ago, if you ask me. But looking at Tim Brown and Reed, I played against Tim Brown, and just, I said this before, the longevity of success. And he played in Super Bowls, just what he was doing, what he did with his production over that long stretch of time. He has my nod. I don't have a vote, but he would be getting my vote if I had him.
I honestly think Timmy and Andre are going to get in eventually. I really do. I played against Timmy since he was at Notre Dame. I ran track against Tim Brown at Notre Dame.
Who won?
I just think he beat me in the 300.
Oh, okay,
300.
okay.
That was long
That's a
distance.
weird race.
I'm a fast twitch guy.
Okay.
But, I think they both will be in. And the problem is, if they don't get in the next couple of years, it's going to be a while because these other guys coming up, numbers are better than theirs.
Jerome Bettis, you played with him. There's been a lot of debate about him. Where do you see him? Is he a Hall of Famer?
I think it's tough for Jerome. When you look at the longevity, he did have a long career. His yards are, right up there with the best ever. The impact of the game on a consistent basis for Jerome Bettis, I think that's the key for him. I think everybody's saying, where was he? How good was he when he played? And how did he impact the games?
All right, we'll find out the day before Super Sunday how this rolls.